So I'm Peter Byrnes, and I am the owner and co-founder of Lugh Studio Inc. here in Brooklyn, New York. And how I got here. Well, I was born in Manhattan, but I was raised in the boonies, in the mountains in Pennsylvania. And so even as a kid, I was part of two worlds, an urban and rural world. And I learned very quickly that I needed to be able to bridge that. I very quickly developed a passion for languages. I love foreign languages. And I studied overseas, really profoundly changed my life living in Sweden. It's a very humane culture, and it really helped me define suddenly who I was relative to what I was brought up with. It's very hard when you never leave your environment to know what is really you and what is just a factor of your environment. Living in Sweden helped me separate that and see. I went to Penn State for Foreign Service International Politics, which on the surface has nothing to do with what I'm doing today, which is graphic design and branding. But as often is the case, after decades of seemingly disparate things, they come together, and I finally realized that my whole life has really been about communication. How to communicate. The importance of communication. That's why I speak several languages. I studied acting with one of the greatest acting teachers in this country, Lugh for many years. Graphic design for me is about communication, and particularly branding for me is translation. So I'm going to take who you are and translate it visually so that you understand who she is. And if in that process you look at it and you say, that's a Peter Byrnes, then I've failed, because I'm translating your message to you, not my message. I counsel young artists who come to me and say they want to job as a graphic designer because they want to express themselves. I say, well, then you need to go somewhere else, because you're not going to be expressing yourself here. You can express yourself in the sense of doing a good job and picking the perfect words, just like an excellent translator does, right? They don't just take the words, they take the words in a context, cultural context. So the thing that I've noticed about the internet, which is becoming very exciting, is the whole concept of localization. And it's about, what I like about the localization part is like things are getting more and more specific, more and more narrow, more and more authentic. And authenticity is critical in good communication. And I think that it's becoming something very valued on the internet. If you're authentic, people believe you, they trust you, they follow you, they interact with you, and you win. It's much less about what's on the surface, and people are starting to be able to really get to the meat of things. So that's a very exciting development, I think, on the internet, which I'm a slow adapter. I went kicking and screaming, but I've been won over. As far as advice, in terms of starting from nothing, and I do mean nothing, and building things and falling down and learning from your mistakes, I always have been fascinated by Olympic figure skaters. They're doing this amazing thing, a huge amount of pressure, and they fall right in the middle of everything. And they do not spend 1 second on that ice beating themselves up. They don't curse the ice, they don't curse, they get right back up, and they continue to such a degree that you sometimes forget that they ever fell. And I think that's a brilliant way to approach life in general. There's nothing to be gained by cursing the ice. Just get the hell off the ice and start skating again. And it's a lot easier said than done, there's no doubt about that. But if you think about it, if you focus on what you have right now, you can only create more of what you have right now. How can you create something different? All your focus is here right now, that's all there is. If you don't have a goal, or if you don't have a vision or a belief that you can build something better or try something else, of course you're going to continue to get more of what you have. And you're also going to be like cattle. I mean, when the economic crisis happened 2 years ago, I turned off the TV. I cut my cable off, I turned off the TV, and I decided to no longer watch it because the situation I was in is I had a small company that I had to keep afloat in an economy that was hit very hard. And the banks just took away all credit for everybody, so now I'm trying to run a company where my clients are paying me very, very late. My vendors want to get paid very, very early. The banks are giving us no money, and I'm really up against the wall. And the last thing I need to hear is about how horrible it is and how worse it's going to get, and the worst is yet to come. Who the hell gets out of bed in that? I couldn't do that. I turned off the TV, stayed focused on what I needed to do, and I did it. And of course, it's not like I'm ignorant. I still hear everything. Trust me, you hear about everything whether you want it or not. People talk about stuff, you hear about it. And, occasionally I'll watch news, but almost always international news. BBC, Swedish news I have to watch. And I get everything I need from that. So my trick was to don't listen to the negative talk. There's nothing to be gained about it. Don't complain. Of course I complain, but don't stay there. Go ahead, get it out, and then move on. Drop it and move on. Because there's not... Great, you're a victim, and everyone says, oh, you poor thing, how hard, that's really hard. And the next day you're right in the same spot. It doesn't help. So it's better to just have your moment, get it out, cry, scream, scratch, spit, whatever, and then say, all right, enough. Now I have to get off the ice and start skating.